Hi, my name is Stalkedd. I'm a Dead by Daylight content creator and I primarily make videos on Ghostface. Although we do play other killers, we play Survivor, we do lore videos, we do funny, silly, goofy videos and shit. Sometimes we even play other horror games. You can also catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Stalkedd. I guarantee you it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever done in your entire life. But that's besides the point. I hear you guys want to learn how to play Ghostface. Anyone can wear the mask, so might as well be you. Ghostface is a stealth killer. His power grants you the undetectable status effect, which completely hides your terror radius and red stain. Not only that, but Ghostface also has the ability to stock up and expose survivors, hence my name. And if you don't know what expose means, well, have you ever been in a chase with a survivor and it takes 2 hits to down them? If they're exposed, it only takes 1. So, if you stay stealthy, play your cards right, and stock properly, you'll be able to one-shot every survivor and there won't even be any chases. However, survivors do have the option to break you out of your power. If they look at you for too long, you'll get revealed, which instantly breaks you out of your stealth and reveals you to everybody through your terror radius. That's okay though, because any stock progress that you already had on any survivors will carry over into your next power, so long as you don't hit them and reset the stock meter. Ghostface also has the ability to stalk behind walls and crouch in order to make himself more stealthy. Essentially, you press a button, hide behind a wall, stalk up a survivor, hit him, down him, move on. But there's a lot more nuance than that. For example, when you stalk a survivor and fully mark them, the survivor gets notified that they're exposed and will oftentimes run away from you. So it's good to get into the habit of 99ing survivors. 99 means that you just 99 their stock meter and save them until you're closer to expose them. So you could stalk them from afar, get the bar to 99%, and then walk up right behind them and instantly pop that expose status effect and guarantee yourself the down. When being revealed by survivors trying to take you out of your power, you also gain knowledge on where they are. This could be really good in a situation where a survivor's hiding from you, or maybe you downed a survivor and lost track of them. When in that situation, just pop on your power and walk around to where you think they went, and if they catch sight of you, well then you'll be notified. Instead of the reveal mechanic becoming a weakness, you can also use it as a tracking tool. And for more tips regarding Ghostface's power, be sure to check out my channel where I have several guides and tips and tricks videos on him. I'd also like to go over the ideal add-ons and perks that you're going to need for Ghostface. So starting out with add-ons, the best add-on you could ever run on Ghostface is Drop Leg Knife Sheath. This will give you a speed boost after marking a survivor with the exposed status effect, which will help you to catch them and down them sooner. There's also Driver's License, so if you stalk a survivor and they're doing a gen, that gen will explode and lose progress. Not only that, but it'll also block it off for a few seconds. I'd also recommend Walleye's Matchbook. It reduces the cooldown on your power by 6 seconds, which adds up a ton at the end of a game. If you're someone who prioritizes using your power, then repeatedly saving 6 seconds every time could add up to minutes at the end of games. And we all know how important it is to manage your time as a killer, especially when you have 4 opponents. Then there's Cheap Cologne, which increases your mark duration by 10 seconds on a survivor who recently became exposed. And lastly, there's Philly. Philly decreases the amount of time required to mark a survivor by 20%. You can never go wrong if you're bringing Drop Leg and Driver's License as well as one of the brown add-ons previously mentioned. I think Drop Leg specifically combos very well with some of the browns. For example, Cheap Cologne extends the mark duration by 10 seconds. Well, when you pair that with the speed boost, you're almost guaranteed to catch that survivor and down them. Or how about Drop Leg and Philly? I mean, speed boost plus reduced marking time makes for a lot of speedier downs. Enough about add-ons though, let's get into the perks. I've covered a wide variety of builds for Ghostface on my channel, these of which being my favorite. So first, we have an aura build. If you don't know what auras are in Dead by Daylight, they're essentially wall hacks that allow you to see survivors from anywhere on the map and through walls. Pair this with Ghostface's stealth and it's very easy to get the jump on survivors and then mark and down them. Anyways, this aura build consists of Lethal Pursuer, Scourge Hook Pain Res, Friends to the End, and Surge. Lethal Pursuer shows you all survivors' auras at the start of a trial, as well as increases the duration of any other aura effect by 2 seconds, which is why it combos so well with other aura perks because it extends the duration that you get your wall hacks. Scourge Hook Pain Resonance is a perk that creates 4 white hooks on the map. When you hook a survivor on the white hook for the first time, the gen with the most progress will pop and instantly start regressing. Not to mention, it loses a ton of progress it already had. It's almost like kicking the gen that has the most progress without actually having to go over and kick it. Just keep in mind that this is a one-time effect per survivor, so it'll only happen the first time you hook each individual survivor. Friends to the End is one of the greatest perks in the entire game, in my opinion, especially for newer players, seeing as this perk provides you with so much information. At the beginning of a trial, one of the survivors will be deemed your obsession. When downing and hooking a survivor that isn't your obsession, you'll get the aura of your obsession, as well as they'll already be exposed for an additional 10 seconds. So after hooking somebody, you'll instantly see your obsession's aura, and they'll also be exposed for 10 seconds, which is the same status effect you'd get from marking them anyway. This perk is a huge convenience, but that's not all. Say you manage to catch your obsession and hook them, them, well then another random survivor will scream out revealing their location and become your new obsession, allowing you to repeat the process over and over again until they're all dead. And lastly, there's Surge. Surge is a really good perk for gen regression, and regardless of what killer you're playing, most likely you're going to run some form of gen regression. I prefer Surge because no matter what you do on Ghostface, you'll always be able to proc it. When you down a survivor with a basic attack, all nearby gens will explode and instantly lose progress. The reason why this works so well on Ghostface is because all of Ghostface's attacks are basic attacks. He's not like a Huntress who throws a hatchet or a Deathslinger who can fire a gun. No. Even when downing a marked survivor, all of Ghostface's attacks are counted as basic attacks. You will always proc Surge, and it is the greatest gen regression perk that you can run on Ghostface. However, if you haven't noticed already, that build contains perks from other killers, meaning you'd have to buy and prestige those killers or purchase those perks from the Shrine of Secrets. But that's okay, because assuming you're a new Ghostface player who has Ghostface and Ghostface only, we still cooked up a build with default perks and with Ghostface's teachable perks. So you don't have to worry about buying and prestiging other killers. No, this is going to be your Ghostface starter pack. So as mentioned before, we're going to be using 2 of Ghostface teachable perks and 2 default killer perks. The 2 Ghostface perks are going to be I'm All Ears and Thrilling Tremors. So quick recap, I'm All Ears is a perk in which a survivor who performs a rushed action will have their aura revealed to you for a few seconds. Thrilling Tremors activates when picking up a downed survivor. So when you go to hook a survivor, you'll see white tendrils cover gens that aren't being worked on. Any gen on your screen that isn't white is currently being worked on and is probably where you should go after hooking that survivor. Both of these perks combined will give you a great deal of information and help you know where to go, seeing as a lot of newer killers kind of just walk around the map not really knowing what to do. Anyways, the 2 default perks we'll use are Slobby Butcher and Hex No One Escapes Death. You're not always going to be able to mark and down a survivor, but that's okay, because with Slobby Butcher, your basic attacks will be given an extra buff. When you have Slobby Butcher equipped and you hit a survivor with a basic attack, they're given Mangled and Hemorrhaged. These make it so that survivors bleed out more, but also lose progress on their healing bar when not healing. Let's say a survivor's healing up and they're at 90% healed, and then you catch them off guard and get into a chase. Well, that bar is going to be regressing the entire time that you're chasing them. This gives survivors an ultimatum. Do they stay injured, making themselves more vulnerable to work on gens, or do they waste more time healing? When you give an injured survivor to a killer like Ghostface who can go undetectable and sneak up on survivors, it's kind of like just putting a bow on top of them and handing them as a gift. But lastly, we have No One Escapes Death, which is one of the strongest perks in the entire game. Heads up, we'll be calling it NOED from now on. Once all gens are completed, NOED activates, consuming a dull totem and turning it into a hex totem. Essentially, this perk is bound to that totem, so if a survivor breaks the hex totem, then they break NOED. This means that the survivor can take the perk away from you, but that's only because this perk is extremely strong. So as I mentioned before, this perk activates when all gens are completed, but it gives you a great overall speed boost as well as makes all survivors exposed. So say you had a hard game where the survivors were able to loop you, well in the end game you're going to be fast, stealthy, and all the survivors are going to be one shot. You'll be guaranteed at least a kill or 2. And if you don't believe me, well then I recorded some gameplay using this build to show you guys how good it is even in higher MMR. This build doesn't just work against baby survivors, but even against some of the best survivors you'll encounter. Okay, so we got an indoor map and we're playing Ghostface and we're running the starter build. So I'm immediately going to go into Night Shroud because I don't want anybody knowing where I am at all. And my first thought is I got to go and patrol gens, but somewhat stealthily because I don't want people to see me, although I think you saw me, right? Yeah, you saw me. So because she saw me, I don't want to waste time stalking her. I feel like it might not get the stalk off if I just try and get her and she knows where I am. So I'm just going to go for the M1 and quickly get my first down. And because we played it like that and we instantly went for the M1 as soon as she revealed us, we basically got it down just as quick as we would have gotten it stalking. So now after I hook her, I can use Thrilling Tremors to see what gen a survivor's on. So since all these ones are blocked off, we know that survivors are on this gen right here. So because I know they're going for the unhook, I can get... Oh, so she's going to catch me too here. Oh, that's a guy. We don't want to spend too much time in chase on Ghostface. We want to apply constant pressure. So you'll notice I don't really stick to a chase very long. So now my goal is kind of to stalk someone up, and you can stalk somebody up and chase, like I'm trying to do with this Leon here. It's just kind of a bitch. So we're going to do this. I don't incentivize tunneling, so I'm actually going to slug her just to create more pressure, and I'm going to go for the Jeff. So I got a hit on Jeff. We can go back to Nia and see if anyone's going for her, or we can stay on Jeff here. But I'm going to use my power and chase to cut off my tear radius. Buys me a few extra seconds to get the Jeff free. So whenever you pick up a survivor on a pallet, if you immediately swing, there's a lesser chance of you getting stunned. It's really good every time you pick up a survivor on a pallet, to just swing, because right there we would have gotten stunned. But because we were able to swing, we got out of that bitch. So here I'm just gonna try and stalk. Okay, they're not gonna heal on hook. They're smarter than that. So we know someone's going this way. Let's see who it is. I reckon they're going for this gen, so let's try and approach stealthily and see if we can slash them. So I hear that they're injured. I'm just gonna go for it. Because they're injured, there's no point in stalking. I can just go for the hits. And you can see right now we have a shit ton of pressure because we have an injured Jeff, a down Nia, and now Trevor's in chase. And we are trying to win, so I am just going to hook the Nia again. Oh, we can Mori her now, actually. So boom, we won the game. But now that we've got one dead at 4 gens, it's almost impossible for them to come back from this, because the amount of pressure that you can put out consistently as a killer basically trumps anything that survivors can do unless they have a few gens to do. But see, when you play Ghostface, he's really not as strong as some other killers, especially in chase, so you mainly want to play for pressure. Like, I didn't count it, but I know I dropped a shit ton of chases. And now we're just going to patrol gens. If you don't know what to do, patrol gens as a killer. So because we're just patrolling gens, and we have people injured, and people aren't on gens, we know that they're most likely healing. So right here, they might have fucked up a healing skill check. What are they doing? Yep, that's exactly what's happening. So right here, you can pick up the Jeff, but I am just going to stick on Leon, because once again, we want to have that pressure. And he's kind of fucked here. I think he takes this vault. What does he do here? You know, he's done. Okay. I'm not going to entertain that. I'm just going to go back to Jeff and hook him before they pick him up. And if you ever have trouble tracking a down survivor, you can always get in your power and have them reveal you when you walk by. I'm going to give Trevor my back since I know he has a flashlight and I don't want to get blinded out of the carry. And now this game is basically won. They're kind of fucked. We're going to hook Jeff. Everyone should be coming up on Moriable soon with the exception of Trevor. Oh, I guess that was Jeff's first look too. So we got someone in the basement as well. I think they jumped in a locker. Yeah, I don't know what this guy was trying to do. Interesting. But yeah, you can see once you get an early lead and you're able to convert that into a win, they all kind of just fall apart. So because we put out so much pressure in the beginning and we didn't entertain a chase for too long, we were able to get a hold of the game quickly and end it. The thing is, if we would have stuck to a chase for way too long, then 1, 2, even 3 gens would have flown within the first chase. But because we're able to like dip in and out of chases with people, we can cover a lot more ground, and now this Leon would have unhooked, but he's dead. Do you guys see what I mean? So it's really good practice on Ghostface to learn how to slip in and out of chases and just have a lot of pressure. So now as the other two are unhooking, they're both injured. They're most likely going to heal. I'm going to quickly hook Leon and see if I can go find out where they're healing. Let's see. So I do see scratch marks. It's very important to try and use your head, especially if you're a survivor main. Use your survivor brain to think, where the fuck are these guys going? Obviously, they don't want to run far away. But again, look at how they fall apart once you get an early lead. You want to work on getting that early lead and then maintaining it. And now that we've hooked them, we want to get into our power. So you guys should make it a habit to always be in your power as Ghostface. Whenever you can get into your Ghostface power, you should be using it. Too many times I see people who are walking around with the ability to get into their power, but aren't doing it. You guys got to take into consideration that the strongest aspect of Ghostface is his stealth. And at this point, it's just a hatch 1v1, so I am going to scour the map and look for hatch. But also, because I'm in my power, if Jeff happens to see me and I don't see him, I will be able to pick up on that with my sound cues. Hopefully this helps some of you guys. Okay, so just looking at it in the end game, they weren't running the most meta perks, but I want to explain something to you guys. So with I'm All Ears, we had a little bit more tracking and chase, although we didn't really need to use it, but I do think it's going to be very helpful for a lot of you newer players who are looping and chase and often lose track of a survivor. I'm All Ears is going to help you once they perform a fast vault, or basically that's it, any kind of rush action. So a fast vault or getting in and out of a locker. I think one time we did catch someone in the basement because they fast vaulted into a locker. And then Thrilling Tremors we used a lot here to kind of find out where survivors were after a hook. So with Thrilling Tremors, whenever you pick up a survivor, all the gens that aren't being worked on turn white, and all the gens that are being worked on stay red. And there was one point in the game where we had a generator that was red and it was the only one. So we knew survivors had to be on it. With Slobby Butcher, your hits are going to do a lot more damage even if you're not insta-downing them. Like in that game, I don't think we got a single exposed once, but because of our Slobby Butcher, they spent half the game healing. I mean, how many times did we creep up on them while they were fucking up skill checks? And that's only because of Slobby Butcher. We were able to apply a shit ton of pressure. And let's say that all of these guys did manage to get all of the gens done, we had no one escapes death. And with Noed, we would have been speedy and instantly been able to down every survivor once the exit gates were powered. Anyways, I hope that helps you guys and love you.